got a little surprise for you. We're going to do our keynote. I first need to thank Lisa and Delisa for letting me do this intro. In truth, it was because I'm only just beginning season 1 of Scandal. And when we had to see who could compose themselves, it was me. So I just had to get that out there. Thank you, Lisa and Delisa. Most of us know Demetria Lucas for her smoking hot blog, A Belle in Brooklyn. But did you know that when you look her up in Google, what pre-populates is Demetria Lucas hair? So I guess it means algorithmically, her hair is smoking hot too. She also has a book, Belle in Brooklyn, the go-to girl for advice on living your best single life. The Washington Post dubbed her the Black Carrie Bradshaw. And if you're wondering, is she? Yes, she is the one that you've seen in Bravo's Blood, Sweat, and Heels. That's her. She has a book coming out, and that's called Don't Waste Your Pretty, the Go-Go Guide for Making Smarter Decisions in Life and Love. Talking with Demetria today is someone we all know from her Emmy and Golden Globe nominated role of Olivia Pope on the hit TV show Scandal. But she's also an activist, a recipient of the NAACP President's Award, and in 2009, she was appointed to the President's Committee of the Arts and Humanities. Please welcome Demetria Lucas and the actor, activist, style icon, and now mom, Kerry Washington.
Thank you. Hi. Hello, ladies. Oh, no, say hi to me. Hello. And say hi to Kerry. No, one big hi, Kerry.
Leave it to Demetria to take us to church.
No, I'm so happy to be here with you today.
I'm happy to be here.
You're so cute in person.
Likewise.
Like, you're adorable. You're absolutely adorable. You're very Neutrogena fresh.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, see?
I try to be brand relevant. Yes.
So can we launch right in? Do we?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Scandal.
Yes.
It's back.
It is.
September.
Well, yes, we're back at
We're
work.
back. So
yeah.
September 25th is when it
That's
comes back
correct.
out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
Thursday nights go crazy again. That means we shut everything down. Kids
Yeah.
are in bed. Like, we cut everybody off.
We're on at 9 now, though,
Oh.
so you don't have to stay up as late. Although you should still stay up for 10 because Viola Davis's show, How to Get Away with Murder, is on at 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see, I think I'm on it, and I didn't know that. So, okay, 9 p.m. Thursdays.
Yes.
I'm good.
Good.
Can you tell us anything at all about season 4? I know you just had a table read. Like, is there anything at all?
Well, I now know where the plane was going. I wish I could tell you. Because it's really good. But I've been
That's not
spending,
fair.
I know. All summer I've been like, Shonda, like when we find me, am I in a burqa? Am I in a bikini? Am I in a parka? Like, where's the plane going? So now I know, and I can't tell you what I'm wearing because I would give it away. But it's
Okay.
very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's exciting. What else can I tell you? You know, I will say the way the last season ended, it's funny because I was actually talking to a journalist about how the way season 3 ended, what happens to Olivia Pope is kind of what you would do to a character that you were writing off of the show.
Yeah.
Right? So I was a little concerned, but then I got invited to the table
Yeah.
read. And so I am still on the show, which is good for
This
me,
is-
at least.
yeah, this is good.
Thank
We're
you.
happy about that.
Thank you. And it is really like a reset button has been pushed. You know, I mean, last season I feel like Olivia stepped away from it all to try to take some control of her life. And so that's where we begin this new season, is her pressing the reset button.
Does the reset button include Jake? Oh, really? Really?
Show of hands, how many O-Lake people are in the house? How many O-Lits?
People are still rooting for Fitz? Really? Okay, all right. I'll let you guys be. Okay, all right. So last season there were lots of deaths. There was Jerry. There was James. Oh my God, I was like, oh my God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, that was
Jerry,
first.
James, Harrison is now gone.
Well, we don't know. It's sort of a cliffhanger of the season finale, but yeah.
Okay. Shonda sort of indicated that we wouldn't see him much
Yeah,
anymore.
Shonda did talk a little bit about that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone will make it. Well, you don't know. You don't know yet because you don't know until the table reads, right?
We don't know a thing until we read the scripts. Not a thing, which is very exciting. It's part of why we really love to be on social media with fans when you guys are watching, for those of you who watch, for you, when you're watching, because the excitement, the kind of the thrilling ride of each episode, we really relate to that because that's how we feel when we read it for the first time. We have no idea what's coming. So when people watch it, we really identify with that level of excitement. Yeah.
So speaking of the social media, you guys were the first show that sort of like the whole cast was on Twitter or Facebook somewhere, like tweeting and interacting. Like, whose idea was that? How did that come to be?
It's actually really weird if you come to our set on a Thursday at now 9, but what used to be 10, and also at 7 because we tweet with East Coast and Central. It's weird. Everybody's working, and then they're tweeting. And the moment they call action, everybody puts their phone down and is in the work because our whole crew, not just the actors, but the props department, the wardrobe department, transportation, the camera department, everybody is on Twitter. How that happened was sort of a fun teamwork situation. I have this brilliant social media manager who you know, Allison Peters.
She's great.
She's amazing. And I was terrified of social media because I'm a very private person and I didn't know how to engage in this very personal way and still feel like I could be private. I didn't know how to kind of open myself up to social media. And I really worked with Allison to develop a voice in this world that feels authentic to me and allows me to engage and express gratitude and be intimately connected to our fan base and to fans of, the films I do and the companies I represent, but not feel like I'm giving over too much of myself. So it's a tricky balance, but Allison and I have worked on it a lot. Shonda Rhimes is on social media, and she's hilarious. If you're not following Shonda Rhimes on Twitter, you must. She's fantastic. She's our creator, the showrunner of Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, and now How to Get Away with Murder. She's going to own Thursday night, which is unbelievable. Hasn't happened since Aaron Spelling.
Wow.
She was on, and I wanted the cast to be on Twitter, but I didn't want to be that like bossy actor, lead actor of a show. So I called Shonda and I said, "You ask everybody to be on Twitter because you're the boss." And so I sort of Olivia Poped it, and
it's handled.
So she invited everyone to be on Twitter, and of course they did because she's our boss. And then the live tweets was really an organic thing that developed because we all are fans of our own show and we're fans of each other. And we, when our first season was only 6 episodes. We got a very small pickup, and we knew that if the show was going to succeed, it had to be a grassroots effort. And so we all of us got on Twitter every Thursday and stood behind the show and appreciated our fans, and our fans appreciated us by spreading the word. And really, I think social media and our fans saved our show. It's because of our fans that we got a season 2 and season 3 and now season 4. So
yeah. And I want to say that the season 3 finale was like 10.5 million.
That's so terrifying.
Those numbers those are
That's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah, you guys put numbers on the board.
It's weird.
Yeah, and I think everyone in here is on Twitter on Thursday nights, like tweeting away. So.
It's weird, like when when Oprah came to set and she said she started watching the show because on Thursday nights, all anybody was talking about on Twitter was Scandal, and she was shocked, and so she felt like she had to start watching the show because of that.
Well, you feel forced because you're like, it's like what the plot is.
We're Twitter bullies.
So it's like, well, I might as well join in because no one's talking about anything else anyway.
Well, that's kind of interesting too. It's like social media. There are so few water cooler shows now because you can watch most shows whenever you want. On Netflix, you can binge an entire season of whatever. And so people don't really watch shows when they air anymore. But social media has allowed us to be a water cooler show because if you don't watch it right when it's on, you're terrified that somebody's going to spoil it for you. We're bullies.
Like we're bullies. How do you balance the privacy of what you share? Because as a celebrity, everyone wants to know everything about you. They want to know where your hair gets done. They want to know your shoes. They want to know who you're wearing. They want to know all aspects of your life. And so you've shut off some of it. You give peeks here and there. But where do you draw your lines?
I think it's ever evolving, but I kind of feel for me, the hair and the makeup and the fashion stuff, that's still professional for me, you know, because the truth is I didn't really care about any of that stuff before I became an actor. I was totally one of these like tomboy, running in the woods, hanging out on the streets of the Bronx kids. And yeah, boogie down.
Some New Yorkers in the
Yes,
house.
always,
She threw up the X.
always,
I love it.
always, BX. So I really, at some point I started realizing that the red carpet was a marketing landscape, and that for me to stand behind my work, it was important for me to show up on the red carpet and respect that platform. So I kind of, you know, being the child of a professor that I am, I started studying fashion and studying hair and makeup, and I really became a student of that world and that aesthetic. You know, as an artist, I thought, oh, this is another form of art. And I still, for me, when I go to fashion shows, I think about it as the same as if I'm going to the ballet or going to an opening at a museum. It's a moment of aesthetic beauty to take in and appreciate the artistry. So that's how I kind of opened up to hair and makeup and fashion. So those things I'm really comfortable talking about in a social media landscape. The things I don't talk about so much are my personal life, you know, my marriage, my, you know, being a mom, my family. Sometimes I tweet about my parents because I can't resist. And I do tweet about my dog sometimes, but she's super famous. But yeah, I do try to keep the relationship stuff private.
Okay.
And part of it, I mean, we were talking backstage, part of it is I want, you know, as an actor, I feel like it can be really unfair to audiences to know too much about me, baby in the house, because it's harder to lose yourself in the work if you know so much about me. You know, if I was sharing all of my intimate details about my husband and I, then, you know, you may have to do a little more work as an audience member to dive into my relationship with Jamie Foxx and I in Django, or in Ray, or, you know, Tony Goldwyn and I in Scandal. You know, I like to keep my life a mystery so that you can more easily enjoy the stories that we're telling as actors.
Yeah, and when we're talking about it backstage, I think a point that I brought up was it makes you more interesting.
Oh.
Because as much as, you know, celebrities, we want to know everything about them, I think we still do respect the people that hold a little back. And so it's like when they do give you something, you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually interested, as opposed to somebody who's like, oh, I did this and this and this, and you're like, yeah, I know, I've heard it, I saw it on Instagram.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Well, then it's good then that I don't share, because I'm probably much, like, if it seems that I'm more interesting because I don't share, that's definitely a lie. I'm incredibly boring. But the fact that I don't talk about it makes it more interesting, so that's good.
Mystery is good. Mystery is a lost art form. How do you deal with the backlash on social media? Because Twitter, as popular as the show is and so many people love it, one of the big criticisms is, you know, there's a black woman and she's in an interracial relationship and she's a mistress, and there are other shows that also have black women who are mistresses. And so, you know, there's the image of black women and their Scandal is terrible, it condones. But how do you deal with some of the backlash?
So to me, there's sort of two sides to that. One is that I have never been drawn to playing perfect characters, because I don't think that there's any such thing as a perfect person. And I think my job as an actor is to embody humanity. And often I've felt a lot of fulfillment by taking a character that somebody else might think of as a statistic or a stereotype and infusing that character with as much reality and humanity as possible. You know, I think a lot of times if I've been playing a drug addict or a prostitute or a mistress, you know, these kind of women that you put in a box, for me, as an actor, I'm given the honor of giving you an inside look into that person's life and into their heart, so that somebody you might normally walk past in the street, a homeless person, a woman who's selling her body because she feels like she has to survive, those might be stories that you don't pause to think about because you don't want to, or because you think you should judge them. But as an actor, I can force you to feel for them by letting you into their life and into their mind. So that to me is part of the gift of being an actor, that I think every human being has value, and I never think it's okay to say a character is worthless because of something that they've done or because of some characteristic of who they are. Everybody has a story worth telling, and that, you know, for me, part of being a black woman and being able to work means that I get to tell stories about people that we don't always pay attention to. You know, when I talk to people about Scandal being a success overseas, it's like, oh, because of Scandal, these women in Japan now have this black woman in their home. They don't know a lot of black women. You know, they don't, and I don't see that as like, oh, I have to now be a perfect person. I think I have to be a human being who has flaws and who has aspirational qualities. So, you know, in terms of the backlash, as an artist, the backlash is none of my business because I'm not out there to be perfect. I'm out there to tell stories and to try to bring an emotional truth to the character. In terms of social media and the backlash, I just try not to engage with it. Like, I'm a big believer in not reading comments. I'm a big believer.
It's hard though, isn't it?
It is hard, but it's like I don't weigh myself because, and you know, maybe I'm sure weighing yourself works for a lot of people, but for me, part of why I don't weigh myself is because there's never a good answer on the scale. It's either
This is true.
and, you know, it's either a number that I don't like, or it's a number that I do like, and then I don't want to eat for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? It's like it's for me, it's brain clutter, and I feel that way about the comments. You know, it's none of my business what you think of me. I'm living my life, and but it is hard. It is hard. I think particularly because in social media, you feel like you're in a community, and people in social media can be very mean.
Mean, yeah.
In fact, some of our cast members have struggled with it a lot, and I remember saying to Katie Lowe's, who plays Quinn Perkins, who I love, she's one of my best girlfriends, and you know, I just said to her, because people can't stand Quinn sometimes. I mean, you know, they like, you know.
Quinn gets it bad.
Quinn gets it bad, and Quinn gets it bad.
But I think it's a testament to favor. I think it's a testament of people really liking her. Like, you feel very strongly.
Yes.
You're not indifferent. And so
That's
tell her,
right.
we're not indifferent. We're paying attention. Because
Well, that's
sometimes
what I
I'm
said
like,
to her.
Quinn, really?
Well, that's the thing, is that I said, you know, what it means when you get that kind of real anger, that kind of
Visceral.
intensity of emotion, right, is that it means people care. They care so deeply about the show. And I think sometimes people come to social media to find community, to find a sense of belonging, to find a place where they feel like they can empower themselves. Often that's done in really positive ways. We hashtag Gladiator, we come together on Thursdays, we cheer each other on, we post pictures, we compliment each other, we retweet each other. Sometimes it's done in really negative ways by building community through judgment and criticism and, you know, this holier than thou idea of I'm better than she is or he is. And you know, that I just have to protect myself from, because it's kind of high school. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I, as much as I am willing to participate and be part of the community, I don't look to that community to affirm my worth and who I am.
Smart.
So,
Smart. Let me ask you, how do you choose your roles? Because even when I was going through your IMDb, and I was just trying to find some sort of theme in them, and it's all over the place. So what is your process? I mean, like, I think I'm going to say yes to this.
yeah, it is all over the place.
And that's what I like about it, though.
It's so, thank you for saying that. I mean, I feel like it's been interesting for me because up until Scandal, I've had a really full career. I've had a very rich career, but I've kind of prided myself in disappearing into these characters. You know, I don't think people have necessarily connected until now that girl from Save the Last Dance is the same girl from Last King of Scotland. Like, people don't make those ties, and that's, you know, because I work as a character actor to kind of disappear into the person. And Scandal has just changed that. It's like, there's no more disappearing. You know, you're in everybody's home at the same time every week. You have a date with them, and they're like in their robe, in their underwear, watching you.
With their
You know,
wine
yeah,
and their
with their wine
popcorn.
and their popcorn. So there's no more disappearing. But I mean, for me, a big part of how I choose my work is the material. I mean, I think it all starts on the page. It's all in the writing. And wanting to work with writers that I respect and admire, wanting to be parts of stories that I think are worth telling, wanting to work with immense talent. So the writing and the directing, that's it.
What was the pull for Scandal particularly?
Scandal, it was the script. I mean, I was resistant to read the script for Scandal. When my agent called me and said there's this 1-hour drama on television, I was like, I'm not really looking to do a network television show because I really love my film career, and it's, doing a network show, it's 9 months out of your year. And then he said that it was Shonda Rhimes, and I was like, oh man,
Well,
now I have to read it. Yeah, and then I read it, and I didn't understand what they said, but before my agent manager gave it to me, they said it's almost like she wrote it for you, which she didn't, because I had never met Shonda, which is rare for 2 black women in Hollywood to not have met. But we hadn't, and it was as if she wrote it for me, even though she didn't know, because I'm not having an affair with a married man who lives in the White House. But I do, I'm very curious about people, and I do like to fix situations. And can you tell I'm a new mom? I'm like, where's?
It's like, is that mine? That's not mine.
And sorry, come back to here. Okay, and okay.
It means you're a good mother.
Thank you, or something. I felt like this character was written for me because she is so complicated, and we're all complicated as women, and I was looking for that kind, or as people, really. I was looking for a role that had that kind of three-dimensionality, and, my interest in politics and my interest in human rights, and she just had all of that. And then I got to those last 3 pages of the script, because up until then I was really seduced by this world, the fixer, the underground, the underbelly of like where the most powerful people go on the worst day of their lives. All of that was so interesting to me. And then in the last 3 pages, it was like, oh my gosh, she slept with the president? Like, it was crazy. And so I was hooked. And then I really, really wanted the role. And I didn't know that the president and Olivia were going to have this ongoing thing, because at the pilot it was like, no, we're done.
It's done.
So I didn't know where the show was going to go, and Shonda wasn't willing to tell me where the show was going to go, so that I really had to surrender to that. But I wanted it really badly, so then I auditioned and begged and pleaded and, and got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
The question I asked you backstage, I said, I reached out to all of my followers on Instagram and Twitter, and I said, do you have any questions for Kerry Washington? Who wants to know? And the number one overwhelming question was, does she get to keep the clothes? Everyone wanted to know that.
No.
No.
Because very early on, our brilliant costume designer, Lynn Paolo, and we both decided that we didn't want the fashion on the show to be fashion for fashion's sake. We didn't want it to be stunt fashion, like where every episode there's a new outfit just to get your attention. Because that's done on a lot of shows, and it's cool and it's fun, but I wanted to ground the show more. So I wanted the clothes to be amazing, because I feel like this kind of woman would have this kind of global, international taste, and her aesthetic had to be really elevated. Everything about her I wanted to be fixed. But I wanted it to feel like she has a real closet. So in every episode, we wear at least one item that you've seen before. Every single episode, there's been either a pant or a jacket or a bag, like more than a bag, because the bags get used a lot.
Oh, the gloves?
Yes,
the
exactly.
Gloves.
Every episode has at least one reused, but often 2 or 3 reused items. And so there is actually this very big Olivia Pope closet on our lot that I do fittings in, and it's like a princess. It's people walk up to me all the time. They're like, "I want her clothes." I'm like, "Me too."
Me too.
Yeah, but I'm very excited actually, because I often also think I wish I could afford her clothes. And Lynn Paolo and I have partnered with The Limited to create this collection that's inspired by Scandal. And thank you. It's really exciting, because for us, what we wanted to do with Olivia Pope was really redefine the power suit. I felt like on most television shows, and even in our real media, when you look at women in politics, so often to be a powerful woman, you had to dress like a man. And I wanted Olivia Pope to have an aesthetic that was completely powerful and completely feminine. I wanted her to have a waist. I wanted her to feel elegant and feminine and beautiful and still feel like the most powerful person in the room. And so we worked really hard to kind of redefine what a power suit looks like. And in partnering with The Limited, we've been able to create that at a price point that most women can afford, which is awesome. awesome.
Affordable,
Yeah,
yay.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
It comes out the same week of our season premiere, which
Oh,
is
nice.
fantastic. So September 22nd, the line premieres.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
And it's really, I'm so proud of it. Lynn and I and The Limited were so proud of it. Like I would never, there was buzzing that this might happen, and Lynn and I were like, you have to let us be involved. You have to let us spearhead this, because our gladiators know the difference. They will know if this is like some flimsy line, and they will know if it's not quality. And so we actually gave ourselves the task of committing to The Limited that I would wear pieces from the collection on the show. And so then it was like,
Smart.
okay, now it's really got to be good.
Yeah.
So we really, really have worked very hard on it.
No, and I think it's very smart to collaborate with The Limited, because I know when I first started working, that's where I went to get all my work clothes. I didn't know where else to go, but The
that's right.
Limited was like
I worked
my
at The
spot.
Limited in college.
Nice.
Yeah, and I worked at The Limited in Georgetown. So it's so weird. It's like this weird Washington
that was the good
Limited
Limited.
thing. That was
yeah,
the good one.
that was the good one. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So how do you find a balance with all of this? Like, I mean, you've got the show, and you've got the husband, and you've got the baby, and you've got film projects, you've got The Limited, you've got
Right.
Neutrogena, you've got so many, Movado, you've got so many projects all under your...
I'm exhausted listening to you
I'm
describe
listening.
it.
And I was like, hold up, I went from one hand to the other. Like, so where do you find time? Because that's everyone in here is like,
yeah, I feel like we
time is
all
a big thing.
relate to that. We are natural multitaskers, women. We just are. And even if we're not natural multitaskers, we figure it out. And a lot of it's new for me. The mom part is new for me, so I don't know yet what, I just, I go back to work on Monday. So, so I don't know what the balance is going to look like. But I know for me, up until this point, it's been really important for me to ask for help, to be willing to ask for help, and to be willing to say when I don't know, and to be willing to be part of a community of women. And I will say, it's been an amazing experience for me to have a woman like Shonda Rhimes and her partner Betsy Beers as my bosses. I always say to women who feel like they're not pursuing their dreams of leadership or entrepreneurship, or just stepping into their light, like, please do it, because if Shonda Rhimes hadn't done it, my life would have suffered. I benefit from having a woman boss in ways that it's hard for me to even articulate. It is so tremendous to work with and for a woman. And so every time it really is. So every time that we don't step into that, we are robbing somebody. And I think the same is true for the men on our show. Having the experience of working for and with a woman is unique and more exceptional than it should be. It should be much more common, but it's a gift. It really is a gift. And I bring it up because Shonda has taught me a lot about balance. I mean, she does it all. She's got 3 kids and 3 shows, and she really, she has tremendous power, and she wields her power with grace and kindness and responsibility. She does not rule in ways that are irresponsible. So I learn a lot from her, and we'll see how it goes.
No, I think it's so important that you said that, because I think women as bosses get a bad rap. I know so often, I come out of a background, from Essence and Harlequin, where it's very feminine. One of the questions that people always ask me is, what was it like working with women? And I'm like, actually, it was really fun, and we learned a lot from each other, and we gave and took from one another. It was a very symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I think there's, bless you. I think there's something really special about working for a woman, because we understand the concept of village, and we understand the concept of community and of coming together. And I don't mean to stereotype, obviously not every woman does, but I do think there's something about, for me, there's something about being a woman that lends itself to me cultivating those qualities in myself. And I have found that with the women I work with, that's true. Yeah.
What is, let me ask you this. Who are your mentors in this business? I mean, Shonda, obviously, you guys have worked together. But backstage, we were talking about, you met with Cicely Tyson.
Yeah.
And you were just like, oh.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I have heroes. Heroes of mine are, Cicely Tyson and Diane Carroll, Rita Moreno, Barbara Streisand. I mean, women who have just kind of said, oh, I don't fit your conventional idea of what a superstar looks like, too bad, you know?
I'm gonna be one anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do me. And those women have been real heroes of mine. Mentors, Shonda's a big one. Jane Fonda is a big mentor of mine, and she's somebody who really beautifully combines her politics and activism with her work. I mean, I don't know if how many people know this, but the movie 9 to 5 resulted in the union for secretaries. There had been no union for administrative assistants, and that movie sort of brought to light the need because of abuse in the workplace of women. And that to me is always a shining example of using art, and really great fun art, to better the world. So she's a real mentor of mine. Eve Ensler also, who's the writer of the Vagina Monologues. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a dream role that you someday maybe must?
No, you know, I don't have a dream role. I mean, one of the reasons I mention women like Jane and Cicely and Diane Carroll, Julie Andrews, I mean, these are women who, they haven't allowed age to stop them. They continue to be storytellers and continue to do great work. And so for me, I don't really have a dream role, because I feel like the bar keeps moving. You know, the bar keeps raising, and as soon as I do something that feels like, oh, that's a dream come true, I work on new dreams, because I want to keep growing and keep evolving as an artist and as a person, you know. So I don't really have it. I guess maybe I'm scared to have a dream role, because then I'll feel like I have to retire after I do it. But yeah, no, I don't.
Then no, we don't
really
want a dream
have
role
it.
for you.
Yeah.
We want you to keep going and going
Okay,
and
thank
going.
you.
Going and going and going.
From your mouth to God's ears. That's not wood, but I knocked it anyway.
That was like, okay, it's still lucky. It's
Yeah,
still
exactly.
lucky. It's still lucky. So I am going to, I see the clock counting down. I know we have microphones somewhere. I don't have my glasses on. Please tell me you see them. Microphones?
Oh, yeah, there's one.
Okay, there's one. Okay, perfect. So we're going to take questions for Kerry from the audience for about 10 minutes or so. And boom, there's already one person. Give me 1 second. The
Yay.
lights are going up. People are lining up.
Now
They
I
see
can
the other
see
microphone.
everybody.
Hello. We
There's
can
a
see
lot
you.
of you in
There's
here.
a ton of you.
Wow. Thanks for coming. We're
Now
so
we
happy
should-
you came.
I wish we had our phones to take a picture of this.
I know. Oh, wait, do I have mine?
So
Oh, no.
the young lady in the yellow, I
Thank you
believe.
so much. I am Precious Anderson, known as Atlanta's Olivia Pope. I am absolutely just blown away that I'm in the room with you. I treat your scandal tips all the time, and I just want to tell you, sister, that from 3-year-old children back in Atlanta to all over the world, you inspire us every single day.
thank
You
you.
keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Love.
you. Thank you. It's
Love.
so sweet of you.
Love.
Now, I hope those 3-year-olds are not watching Scandal, but if they were watching like the Democratic National Convention, that's fine. That's fine.
I was worried
Okay.
about 3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe they don't understand.
But thank you.
If we can go over to this, we're going to go back and forth between the microphones. Hi.
Hi there, my name is Natalia Bertinoguera. I am at
Hi.
Nakis on Twitter, and I'm an LGBTQ Latina, so very psyched of how many voices are on the show. I spoke recently at Rosario Dawson's Voto Latino Power Summit, and Wilmer Valderrama, he was saying that a lot of celebrities, they are afraid to be vocal about causes and issues because they don't want to alienate their fans.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to thank you for being vocal,
Oh,
and
thank you.
wanted to get a sense from you, how can we, create that safe space for people who are very visible to hopefully shine a light on topics that really matter?
Oh, wow. That's thank you for saying that. Wilmer's great. He's so vocal and so active in lots of communities. For me, I always say I come from a very politically active family. My parents are really engaged in the community, and from when I became of age to vote, my parents treated it like it was a huge rite of passage. They took me out to dinner. They wanted to know who I was going to vote for. It was very important. And I think so. For me, I don't speak out as somebody who's in the public eye. I just always felt that because I'm in the public eye, I wasn't going to let that limit me as an American to have my voice. So And I think how we can support more people who are in the public eye to feel comfortable embracing their rights of citizenship is to show that support in social media, you know, and I'm whatever side of the aisle you fall on, you know, to support people, because nobody should be silenced because they're a celebrity. Nobody should be told that they're not allowed to have an opinion or not allowed to have their say. It's like, I don't speak out because I think you should listen to me because I'm a celebrity. I speak out because I want everybody to speak out. And so if my speaking out encourages some other person to have their voice and own their voice, then that's a gift. So just to really show support for people who do step out there, because it is, I mean, it's intense. It's very intense. You know, I sometimes get tweets of like, I used to like you, you know, now I love the show, but now I don't know if I can watch because, and you know, I always feel like, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. The show is my work, and this is how I feel about issues in the world. I'm obviously not private about that. So yeah, just continue to show support for people who do it, I think. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. This is my phone, so I can take a picture of you guys. Thanks, Katie.
Hi, Kerry. My name's Heather, and I write a site called Rookie Moms for New Moms.
Oh,
and
cool.
not too long ago, I wrote about how Scandal's the perfect binge watch for parents up all night, and that's how I ingested the first 3 seasons.
Oh, cool.
And I just actually tweeted you a link because your maternity leave is ending. So just sending you love from working moms everywhere. So
Thank you.
keep
That's
doing what
very
you're doing.
sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch Luther, and I hadn't watched it.
Oh, it's good.
And that
Oh,
was
it's really
that was
good.
what I binge watched. I was like, oh my god, my husband and I were like, this is amazing. But I can't watch it alone or at night because it's terrifying.
It's
Okay.
Hi.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Joanne Lulin, and I raise money for progressive women candidates, and it's part of what I want in my blog is for every woman in this room to vote, no matter who they vote for.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
But to vote. And because if we don't vote, they're going to, if we're not at the table, they will have us on the menu, which I think they're showing. So no matter which side of the aisle. So one of the things that you haven't talked about is what is it that you do in your activist life? And
yeah.
if you could share that with us.
Yeah.
And thank you. I agree. Thank you for being someone in the public eye and being willing to say how it is that you feel.
Thank you. I have 2 causes that are really important to me, or the ways that I sort of practice engagement the most. And one is women's issues. I've been a board member of the V board for V-Day for a very long time. Thank you. I've been doing the vagina monologues since I was an age when Eve Ensler wouldn't let me do most of the monologues. And I just really believe in V-Day, again, as another example of a play that started a movement that is transforming the world. And so those issues of, ending domestic violence, ending violence against women, that's an issue that's really important to me. I'm also a real advocate for the arts because for me, arts and education saved my life, transformed my life, and saved my life. As a kid growing up in the Bronx, with 2 parents who worked full time, I always say the National Endowment for the Arts was like my 3rd parent. And I really believe in arts to transform the lives of kids and to save our education system. To me, it shouldn't be the sprinkles on the ice cream cone. It really is the key to unlock most of our problems in education. It's how you get kids to go to school. It's how you get kids to stay in school. The statistics are there. If you're studying music, your math scores are higher. If you're studying poetry, your history and English scores are higher. I mean, it's just there. It's so obvious. So that's another thing I'm very passionate about, and that's what led me to be on the President's Committee for the Arts and Humanities. And then I just try to show up. I try to show up for candidates that I believe in. As a longtime Democrat, I try to show up. If it's like tweeting a question to Hillary Clinton, because I know she's going to be doing a Twitter chat, and I know if I tweet her a question, more people will know that Hillary's doing a Twitter chat and be engaged and excited about it, then that's what that means. If it means, hosting an Obama event or showing up in Virginia before an election, whatever it is that I can do to just participate in my democracy, because we're so blessed to live in a country where we have a voice, and our country is only going to be as good as we are. As much as we show up. So
That's the truth. Thank you so much.
You did a lot of work for Obama for both of his campaigns. Will you be campaigning for Hillary as well? If she runs.
Assuming she runs. I mean, I want Hillary to do what's right for Hillary. Mrs. Clinton, but I would, yes, if she runs, I will be, and I've already told her and her husband, I'm there,
Like,
whatever
I'm there,
you need.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yes, lady in red.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Posner. I'm a journalist and a media critic, and I wrote a book called Reality Bites Back, where part of that book, it focuses on reality television and sexism and racism in the genre. And I've written about and sort of posited that one of the reasons that Scandal is so popular is that people are, especially women and especially women of color, have been so hungry for representations of women in network television, and especially women of color of network television, that are not these incredibly humiliation-based, stereotype-based images. And you, as the first Black woman to lead a network show in decades, is, I think, part of the reason that it took off as much as it did. But I was kind of wondering if that role of being that first, even though it's not the first ever, it's the first in many, many decades, at a time when even we've gone backwards, right? Because in the 90s, we had on network television, in the 80s and the 90s, we had Living Single and Girlfriends, and a variety of ensemble shows led by Black women. Now we have none in the major networks. We have some on cable that are ensembles. You are leading the first drama ensemble. Has that felt pressure? Has it felt like a gift? Is it something you have to block out because it interferes with your art? I was just wondering what you were thinking about that. And then if you feel that that's different in any way from, or sort of contrasting from all of the cable reality grossness.
Well, okay, so let's start with, is there pressure being the first in so long?
Yeah, it's weird. You know, when I first heard the statistics about it being the first in however many years, I realized, oh, it hadn't been in my lifetime. Like, not in my lifetime had I seen a woman of color as the #1 on a network drama. But there are women who are doing it on cable. You know, Jada Pinkett and Jill Scott. There were women who were doing incredible work. I never felt pressure because I felt like the pressure is not on me. Like, I'm going to come to work and I'm going to do what I do. I never phone it in, so it's not like I'm deciding, like, am I going to work hard or not work hard? Like, I'm going to come to work and do what I do. The pressure is on audiences. The pressure was on first the American people and now global audiences to, like, are we in a place as a culture where we are willing to embrace stories that are inclusive? Are we willing to have our heroes and anti-heroes be people that look different from us or similar to us? Or, one of the reasons I love our show is because it's not just I think one of the reasons it resonates with people is not just because it's a woman of color, all of those things, but our show represents diversity on every level. Age, race, socioeconomics, religion, it's just sexual orientation. We are an inclusive show where everybody has a voice, and I think that's why audiences really resonate with it. So yeah, I never felt the pressure. I really felt like pressure was on you guys. Were you willing to support a show that didn't look like most other shows out there? And I'm very happy to live in a world where the answer was yes.
Thank you.
We've got time for one more question. I'm sorry, countdown clock. Sir?
First of all, go Colonials.
What?
Go Colonials.
Oh, woo! It's a GW thing.
Yeah, you spoke at my commencement last year.
Buff
it was
and blue.
The most inspiring speech, so
Thank
you.
Thank you. It was a tremendous day for me.
It was great. My question is actually also about your activism. I'm wondering the causes that you've been supporting up to now that you're a new mom, are you interested in other causes that relate to kind of what you're going through as a new mother?
It's a great question. It's something I've thought a lot about. Right now, I think I'm lucky because I've always been really active around women and girls and protecting women and girls, and I've always been really active around kids and education. So I don't really have to move that far to to embrace things that might impact her. But I don't know, and again, my daughter kind of falls in a very private space for me, so I know I've had opportunities so far to talk more about being a mom, and I don't really feel comfortable doing that. And not because I don't think it would be great. I talk to a lot of moms privately, but I'm just still, that space belongs to me and my family. But but you know, definitely in motherhood, everything's different. So I'm looking at things very differently, for sure. Everything's different and everything's the same. It's so trippy. It's weird. So you all relate to, I know, or not all of you, but some of you.
Some of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So they gave me an extra 2 minutes on the clock. So the ladies here, just
Yes.
they were like, they saw you, they heard our prayers.
Sit down.
So what's your question?
Sure.
Really, really quick. What are the questions?
Sure, I'm Charisse Torres from the Badass Mama Chronicles, and I just wanted to ask, related to the last question, as a working mother, as a woman in general, we're all very busy, so we have to be very selfish with our time. How do you make the decisions as to what you're going to dedicate yourself to?
Oh, wow. It's a great question. I mean, I've been really trying to embrace that oxygen mask thing, you know, on planes, like to really put your own mask on first. I think it's so important for us because, you know, if I'm able to take care of myself, and I mean like the basics, like am I sleeping, am I eating, am I exercising, am I praying and meditating, like am I taking care of those basics, then I can really go out into the world and be my best self for all of my other relationships and responsibilities. So I try to prioritize those things with balance. I mean, you know, I could spend 12 hours a day eating, sleeping, praying and meditating and, you know, exercising. But you know, to give each of those things its moment throughout the week, not every day, and then to go where my heart leads me. I got great advice from you know, one of the people that totally fascinates me is Bob Iger. He's the CEO of the Walt Disney ABC world. And so his job is so weird to me because he is in charge of everything from like a Disney cruise to George Stephanopoulos ABC News. Like he to like a theme park to Scandal. Like all of that falls into the ABC Disney family. And I asked him, and it was very helpful to me. I asked him a few months ago, like, how do you decide what you're going to work on in a day? And he said something so valuable to me. So I want to share it with you guys. He said, 80% of his time, he tries to think about where can I have impact? Where am I going to make a difference in the day to day? So it may not usually be Disney cruises, but sometimes it needs to be because the cruise business has been doing what the cruise business is doing. Or that's not quoting him, by the way. But there, you know, sometimes it's a Broadway show that's about to open. Sometimes it's the ESPYs because ESPN, that's where his focus needs to be. So it's really about like, where can I have impact today? And where am I needed? The other 20% is what brings me joy. You know, so there are certain movie projects that fall under the ABC Disney world that bring him joy, or certain shows, or certain, you know, an opening of a park, or there are certain things that bring him, that just fill him up, that fall in his work responsibilities. And I just really have tried to bring that with me because, you know, it's important for us to remember the joy in what we do. It's important to be effective in our workplace, but it's important to cultivate the moments that just bring us joy, because that's how we'll shine in our lives as professionals, you know? So, yeah.
And I just wanted you to know that my sister is your husband's friend Cheese from college.
Oh, hi! So nice.
Hi, love you, adore you. Thank you for being here and for sharing your story. My name's Crystal Tingle, and I'm a writer at thelovejump.com.
Cool.
And I'm curious, are you a writer? Do you see yourself doing any writing in the future, going behind the scenes?
Good question.
We're all writers here.
Yeah, you know, I don't call myself a writer. I'm starting to develop material. So I'm finding I don't call myself a writer, which is weird. I mean, because I feel like I was a writer in school. But yeah, I'm not really a writer. But I say I'm not a writer because I really respect writers, and I don't have a discipline of writing. But I enjoy writing. I journal a lot, and I enjoy writing. And I think I would like to explore that part of myself as an artist at some point, yeah.
You think you ever write a memoir one day?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do it out there just in case.
I mean, I'd have to be like, you know, really close to death.
Well, Kerry, we so appreciate you being here today. This was absolutely
Thank
awesome.
you so much. It was
Thank
such a great interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's take a picture.
Yes, a picture. Do you want to try to do like a selfie with everyone?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a selfie with all of you guys. That's a good idea.